I'm back. Well, what the hell am I doing this time? Well, I bought this bag. No, not that one. This bag. This was Music Store Pro. Yeah, local dealer. I went in to buy a set of strings for my acoustic. I've got one. I'm thinking of selling it, so, because I don't, it's not me. So anyway, I got this acoustic. I want to get some strings, but while I was there, I'm looking at this whole wall of strings, and they varied in price by masses. They go from sort of £3 or £4 all the way up to 20 or 30 pounds, which is $5 all the way up to $40, give or take, yeah. And it hit me right there and then. I stood back and I thought, how many other guys? Well, I'll tell you how many other guys. Every single guitarist out there will have done that. They will have stood in front of them strings and wondered if them are any good. Or what about this here? What about that one down there? So bought some. Every single one I bought. They're not given to me. They're not sent by manufacturers. These are what I went out and bought, and they cost me, honestly, about 80 quid. That's $100. Just for some strings. Just for some strings. That's scary, isn't it? So here I am with all these strings. I'll tell you what I've got. Let's run through them. In no particular order. These were Fenders 9s to 42s, and they marked here at £8.90. That's about $11 to $12. Ernie Ball Slinky Cobalts. These are 9 to 42s as well, and these are £13 or $17. Super Slinky 9 to 42, because that's what I use. No price on them, but I think they were about 5 quid. That's about $7. NYXL 9 to 42s, $14.99. That's about $19. Elixir Superlight 9 to 42, Nano Web it says here. Oh, something to do with Spider-Man. These are £12.99. That's another $16. I did get some discount because I bought so many. So another Elixir electric guitar strings, nickel plated, OptiWeb, $14.99. That's about $18. And we carry on. Nickel wound D'Addario, or D'Addario, however you pronounce it. These are XLs, 9 to 42s, no surprise. Superlight, £7.99. That's about $10. Those are for me acoustic, they don't count. I got these as well. This is interesting. These are 9 to 42 lights, nickel plated, professional electric guitar, Marshall strings. No price on these, but they were about £3 or £4. So the cheapest ones here, basically. Even cheaper than these Gibson Bright wires, which go 10 to 46, which I don't even know why I've got them, but there they are, they're in the mix. And that's all of them, going back. Well, what I can say is, when you read these, when you start reading all this stuff on these strings and about how they are this or how they are that or how they are the other, it all gets a bit mind-boggling. And it gets more mind-boggling when you add all them prices up. Somebody might want to do it and put it at the bottom in pounds or dollars, I don't know. It's definitely worth the effort of going and doing that, and then realising just how much a set of strings could cost you. Yeah. I'll show you one thing that I found interesting straight off, by the way. I'm going to single these two out. So we got Ernie Ball Super Slinky, which I used absolutely for years, 9 to 42, nickel wound guitar strings, made in USA. There it is. You've seen them, we've all seen them. They're 5 or 6 quid, or somewhere near that. I found the Marshall ones. They were hanging up there. These were 3 or 4 quid, which is $4 to $6. They were cheaper, let's put it that way. And if you go against the list prices, there's a lot of difference. Just depends if they'll give you a discount or not. If they won't, these are a lot cheaper. And I turned them over and I looked at them. I looked at both of them like this. And I thought, you know, them two packets look similar. In fact, they look so similar, they're not similar at all. They're exactly the same. So these Marshall strings are made by Ernie Ball. There is no question to it. And I hate to say it, they're the same strings. And they're cheaper. So if you want to get Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, get these. Save yourself some money. To be honest, I can't see any difference except for the printing on these. They are, well, the same. So that's a really useful tip. Just while we're on Ernie Ball, if you haven't seen these ones, Ernie Ball Slinkies, Cobalt it says, Cobalt. Sounds like something from Superman. Oh no, that's some other thing. But I bought some of these a while ago. I play rock. And it talks about Cobalt Super Slinky, and it says here, a proprietary blend of iron and cobalt attracts the magnets in your pickups more than any other alloy, and da da da. They seemed like a more, almost, not toppy, but cleaner. A cleaner distortion. That's a weird way of putting it. But they were definitely louder. They were louder, yeah. I think I can say that. I tried them. I've bought a few now. And I'm thinking of flipping across from these to these. But there's only one thing that stops me. £12.99. That's what stops me. So I'm really going to carry on buying these. Nah. At least Dario. Whatever you want to call them. Yeah. NYXLs. It says here, they bend further, string louder, stay in tune longer, and da 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 da. It's just, nah, I don't think so. I think, yeah, they're reasonable strings. Are they any better than them? Well, they claim so. I'm not that convinced. I mean, there's some of this stuff in here. You've got to hear the difference and all this stuff. Well, you may hear the difference. What? Not convinced. The elixirs, we've got two sets of elixirs here. Let's look at them. 9 to 42s. This one's nano web ultra thin coating with anti-rust. And this one is nickel plated OptiWeb coating. You know what? They all were pretty much, if I dare say, if I get these out, these are the newer ones. These are the quote older ones, I think. Yeah. They claim to last on this one 3 to 5 times longer than ordinary strings without compromising the tone, because they've got this coating on them. And this one, well, these ones are the, where are the OptiWeb. OptiWeb says tone crisp, feel natural. So they should for $14.99. Yeah. They've got coatings on them, so what? Nickel wound, Dario again. Cheaper. I like cheaper. You deserve strings that can go the distance. Only Dario strings are sealed inside and out to ensure high performance. Okay. Steel wrap, less fret wear and all this stuff. Not convinced about that. Fender, electric guitar. Fender has been the instrument of choice, yeah, I'm sure it has. The materials are the greatest sounding materials, and you know what? Every one of these, the best instruments of the highest quality. Gibson takes every step. Bright wires, a precision wound, nickel plated steel give you a bright, crisp attack. All the same words, have you noticed that? So, when it all comes back to it, you know what? I think the singular set that I could actually tell any difference when I've tried these strings over the years and more recent as well. It's that one. Slinky Cobalt. All the rest of them claim this and claim that. But you know what? I'm not somebody that sweats a lot on the hands. Now some guys do. I've got a grandson. Oh, his strings keep going black. And the elixirs will help him a bit. I don't think the cobalts will. I think the elixirs will help somebody like that. But you're paying such a premium. You know, £13 and £15, that's... Let's say you can get these for £4. That's 4 sets of these for 1 set of them. I'd sooner have 4 sets of these. I know I'm changing the subject. I went into a store once. Levi's trousers, you know. Now Levi's can be very expensive. If you trust me, go in. I'm sure you know. But in England, they're even more expensive. I went in, they got this pair of jeans on the shelf, up there, lights glaring on them, saying, oh, these are what you want, these will last. These will last for years. So I said, how much are them? Oh, £120, she said. So how much? £120. That's $150 to you guys, at least. And I said, well, they're not worth the money. Sure, these will last for ages. These will last for 10 years, she said. That's what she said. And I said to her, I said, well, this pair that I've got on here cost me £10. That's equivalent to 12 pairs of these that I've got on. And unfortunately, these 12 pairs that I can buy for the same money will outlast them. Silent, she walked away. So there is a moral in the story of the jeans compared to these things. I'm going to pull these out, by the way, so don't fade away yet. We'll just take a look at the 6th string for each one, and we'll do a little bit of a comparison. I'm not going to load every guitar up and spend hours on that either. Believe what I say or you don't. Believe me. So you'll see the differences, but can I describe the differences in tones and the rest? Well, they're all sort of very similar. Cobalts were different. I have to admit they were different. But I also like the Marshall, because the Marshall ones are the same. Yeah. And as for the elixirs, no thanks, too dear. Gibsons, no thanks, don't like them. I'm not keen on the Fenders. Super Slinkies I like, Marshall I like, these ones I like. These weren't bad, but they're too pricey, so we'll get rid of them. And these were also too pricey. Well, they weren't too... no, they weren't too pricey, but they don't offer me anything over these 3. Over these 2, should I say. I don't think. Super Slinky Cobalt comes out as the winner if you want something that will last a long time and actually improve the output on your guitar. Great for Fenders. And these 2, well, these work well on anything. At any time, they're like a martini. Any time, any place, anywhere, and they don't cost you the earth. So my own logic is, I'll either have these, actually I can throw them away now, I'll either have these, or I'll have these. Now that's a big step between them, so on the premium stuff, the stuff I want to play a long time, I want to play all the time, this one. And the rest will be this one. I might slink back to that, that's a great word, slink back to them if I can't get these. So this is basically the order that I have them currently. At the bottom here is the 6th string off each one. And we could argue, we could say, oh, you've got to zoom in to do this, and you've got to, you know the sort of things I'm talking about. Let's go and have a look, generally. Bit of a close-up on 2 at a time, I guess. Okay, well, as you can see, I'm in pretty close here. But the bottom one, excuse me, is the Marshall Lights 9-42, and the top one is the Ernie Ball Super Slinky. I think you'll be very hard pressed to see any difference whatsoever between those 2, because as far as I'm concerned, they're basically the same one. Now these 2 are a little bit unfair. The bottom one here is D'Addario nickel wound, and the top one actually is a Gibson Bright Wires. It says here NPS wound, whatever that means. What size? That's a 46, and the bottom one's a 42. So There is a difference in the respect that, well, it's a different weight, but I just happened to pick the wrong one up. So you've got what I've got. Now on these next two, you've got the bottom one here is a Fender Bullet, but the top one is the Ernie Ball Cobalt. And what you'll notice on the Cobalt one, this one, is it's sort of more, it's wound differently. It's almost like the winding's a bit thicker than the one on the Fender. And it's a bit thicker than all the other ones we've looked at as well. So with it being Cobalt, that's probably the reason. And I can tell you that the Cobalt ones do sound actually louder. Now both of these two are Elixir strings. The bottom one here is Nano Web, and the top one here is what they call Opti Web. Whatever the difference is, probably slightly different coatings. You can't see the coatings at this this zoom, or maybe you could from another zoom. To be honest, they look pretty similar to me. So the bottom one here is the Elixir OptiWeb again, and the top one is the D'Addario NYXL. Again, not much to see when you look at them. Well, I also took a couple of pictures of different strings, and they're going to be up there. When you see them, well, they're probably up there now. I mean, take a real good close look at those strings, because I'm not telling you which is which, but see if you can see any real difference. It's really difficult to tell any difference, in fact. The only one that I saw that I could actually physically see a difference was the Swanky Cobalt. Yeah. These are all 6 strings. I dare say if I'd have put all first strings up, you'd have noticed no difference. But so that's a little test, really, of taking a look at them in reality next to each other and seeing if you can see any real difference. And you know what, for the most part I can't. Well, I can. It's on the price on the packet, and I really don't believe that you know, 6 or 7 sets of the Marshall ones won't last longer than the price of the Elixir ones that claim 4 or 5 times. Well, I can have 6 or 7 of them for the same money if you fish around a bit. That's a very good way of thinking. Honestly, I can keep strings on my guitars for months on end, even though I'm playing all the time. It's just, some people are different though. Very interesting indeed. Now, this has not been a review where I'm stringing loads of guitars up and playing. I don't think there's any real point in that. I think you might notice that they were louder on the Cobalt and the rest. You probably wouldn't notice any difference between any of them, if you want the truth. So it's all a bit of a, you pay your money and you take your choice. But the problem is, in paying your money, some of these are, you know, the price of a, I don't know, a king's ransom. And I don't think I'd be going out every day and paying the price of the king's ransom for something that doesn't really make that much difference. You know, musicians are funny guys. They often can hear things that nobody else can hear. One of the things I always talk about is that, well, you might be able to hear the difference. I can tell you this, your audience won't. They won't care less what strings you've got on, or what day it is, or they're only interested in a few things, and your strings aren't one of them. It's a very valid point if you think about it. So all you string haters can come on here now and tell me why I'm wrong. But I'm not sure I am wrong. I'm not. I rate them all pretty much the same, I'm afraid, except for the Cobalts. But the Cobalts aren't worth that cost. The cost of them in England, just to repeat, was £12.90 and £13. That's about $16 in England. Might be cheaper where you live, but they're not worth that much. So I'm afraid the winner is probably a Marshall. 10 out of 10 Marshall for signing up to the right guys to make them for you. And the rest of you, well, great marketing. Don't forget to go TonyMckenzie.com, see all the reviews, and until next time, get out of here.